what regeneration aims to do is to leave things better than they were before. So regeneration is very much about generating surplus as opposed to depleting. So it's a whole systems approach, meaning that it's integrated and it's holistic. So it's looking at various elements and not just reducing elements into their component parts.
While sustainable is just about barely keeping things even, when there's some kind of shock, something out of the unusual comes along, something that's sustainable can't necessarily handle that. Whereas an ecosystem that is rich and vibrant and has infinitely more than it needs to live, in other words, it's not just living, it's thriving, it can withstand shock, it can withstand extremes. And so what we should always be doing is looking to really create regenerative systems, systems that continuously enrich themselves, things that are continuously getting more and more abundant at every iteration. So what permaculture gives is the way to understand how to look at these ecosystems, how to create these ecosystems so that they are continuously enriching.
At the moment we've got concrete deserts and we've got arable deserts and we've got literal deserts that have formed as a result of really damaging extractive agricultural practice and human activity in loads of different places. And for me, the regeneration is basically bringing different diversity of life back into those ecologies. And if we're careful in our design process, which is what permaculture is, a design process for enabling that regeneration, we can choose carefully the plants that we put in so that we'll get our food needs met and we'll get our timber for building needs met, we'll get our medicines met, we'll also set aside space for wild things.
So regeneration is really important in the time that we're living because we're in the midst of climate chaos, ecological collapse, the loss of biodiversity, and just the fraying of the social fabric. And we need to really regenerate, so to create surplus rather than to deplete.
At a time when people are in, harder and harder economic situations, we're in harsher and harsher ecological situations. And so I think finding ways that you can still earn income and you can still create enterprise and opportunities for people, because I do believe that that is key, but that those are nested within the ecosystem and they're nested within a space like this.
Because we've done a great deal of damage to the world, that's both its ecosystems, individual species, ourselves. We've gone through an incredible upheaval as a species. We've been through agricultural revolution, industrial revolution, now huge increase in science and technology, and those things have created incredible benefits, absolutely incredible benefits. But it has had some very significant disbenefits, and we've applied a kind of industrial, mechanistic mindset in ways which have created great damage. So, for example, in agriculture, applying huge amounts of industrial chemicals and fossil fuels and machines has led to an enormous damage to soil and to ecosystems. And now we know better, so let's do it better.
And my real dream is that in future generations, when they're at school, whatever that might look like, they're looking through their history books or whatever they may have to look at history back through, and they say, you had to teach people not to poison the earth. You had to teach people not to put poison in the food. You had to teach people not to kill animals and harm animals, and wow, was it really like that? Was it really that bad?
I think for me, it's definitely connected to us aligning human systems to like the way that life unfolds on the planet, always towards more diversity and more complexity and being able to hold more life. We say that life creates conditions conducive to life. How can we really, we are life, right? We are also a living system and we are part of all of these living systems. How can we really behave within the same original principle of life? So that is, our human systems are also creating more life. And for me, that's to be regenerative.
So regeneration is very much about every aspect of our life. So it's not just about how we grow food, it's about how we build our homes and our infrastructure. It's about our energy and where we get our energy. It's about the systems that we inhabit, the relationships that we have, and how we nurture ourselves.
My favourite saying that came from someone else is actually permaculture is a revolution disguised as gardening. So many people come into permaculture thinking it's a gardening thing, and maybe they come to learn about gardening, but by the end of it, they see the world so differently. It completely creates a huge revolution in their minds in terms of what it's about, what life is about, what their interaction, what their responsibilities are. And it gives them tools and practices and things that they can do to really make a difference. And so for me, permaculture is just one way in which we can show people the path.
So regeneration is very much about using and harnessing and working with indigenous knowledge, indigenous systems, and traditional systems, because these are the people that have, since time immemorial, tried and tested so many things about what it means to be alive on this planet, how we create our settlements, how we live, how we give back, how we take from in a way that will sustain us.